All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us in the media center is Marcus Smith, the CEO of Speedway Motorsports, who I know was having a good time during tonight's Monster Energy All-Star race. Marcus, why don't you tell us a little bit about what your impressions were of this evening?
Gosh, I thought from this morning in practice at 10:30 until tonight, I think we finished up about 10 o'clock. It was a phenomenal day of racing. It was some of the best racing we've seen on a mile-and-a-half track in many, many years. And it was just a lot of fun to watch. I'm not the only one who had a lot of fun. There are rumors that there was actual cheering in the press box tonight. So that's
true. I was up there.
You were there. You can witness.
I can vouch.
That's unheard of, and I think it's fantastic. So we had a great time. It was so much fun to watch. Fans were not using their seats; they were on their feet, cheering all night. You could hear the fans cheering above the cars. So it was an awesome night, I think, by all accounts.
All right, let's open it up for a few questions here. We'll start here with Daniel, then we'll come back to Jacob.
Daniel McFadden with NBC Sports. Do you think what we saw tonight will quell anyone who's clamoring to move this event to another track?
Who knows? You can't please everybody, but I've had tons and tons of positive comments in the last few hours from the time practice hit this morning, the Open, and since the end of the All-Star race. So many positive comments. So nobody's even talking about that.
Let's go to Jacob.
Jacob Seelman, Speed Sport. Marcus, is there one specific thing when you look at everything that transpired tonight? Is there one specific thing about what we saw on the racetrack that you were pleased with? And was this overall what you were hoping for? Was it better than you were hoping for?
Well, first I want to say that Steve O'Donnell was up here earlier, and I agree with everything he said. There was a fantastic effort by a lot of parties that made this happen, and not everybody agreed with it. Some people were fully supportive, others were willing to give it a try, and others were opposed to it. But there was enough support that was willing to take a risk, and that is what helped us to what I think is should be considered a huge step forward. And I would also say this was mission accomplished. I wanted to make a positive impact on the sport and on the racing. And I think tonight, judging by the fan reaction, judging by what I saw as a fan, it was really a lot of fun and exciting. So I think, as I said, mission accomplished.
Okay. Let's go back to the middle, then we'll come over to Jerry.
Caleb Whistler, KickingTheTires.net. Your dad's kind of mantra around here is we work for the fans. This was obviously made for the fans. Kind of what was your anticipation level? Were you excited, nervous, kind of going into this weekend knowing that we only had maybe 65 minutes of practice?
If you ask anybody around the office, they would tell you that I was very positive and very excited, and didn't hold back my my anticipation of the positive impact we'd see on the racing. I'm typically not one that just puts it out there. I typically hedge. But I was very positive that we were going to see fantastic racing today, and I was really excited that we had practice this morning. So it was definitely worth being here and checking that out, which just got me even more excited. So as soon as practice was over, I began lobbying Steve O'Donnell for more races with this package. So if anybody was wondering that.
Jerry
Jordan, KickingTheTires.net and Performance Racing Network. This race, your track, your ideas in some aspects have have led to other changes that have been very successful in NASCAR. Kevin Harvick talked about in 5 years he expects people to be looking back and say that it started here. How does that make you feel knowing that impact and the history of this place in general and its place in the sport as a whole?
Well, it immediately made me feel like 5 months would be better than 5 years. I think that, it's always better to do great things as soon as possible. And and I also want to say, Kevin was a big help in this, in the idea and the project with this to really try to do something special on this. And I think, that team, when you look at the 4 team this year, Kevin and Rodney and Zippy and the whole Stewart-Haas team, particularly the 4-car, they have obviously been on. They've been doing great. They're having a dominating year. So when you think about this all-star race package, and you see that the dominating car of the season came out as the winner, I think that really validates the package. This wasn't a crapshoot. This wasn't, whoever's lucky enough to be out front is going to be the winner. This race took a lot of skill. It took the best overall team to win, and but it was in a really exciting fashion. And I think I'm really excited about that. I love that it worked out in a positive way, and I think I can't overstate what a great team effort it was. Steve O'Donnell deserves a ton of credit. Brent Dewar at NASCAR, and a lot of the team people, Don Hawk on our team that really worked hard to make this whole thing happen. Woo. Oh yeah, we have a concert right now. Machine Gun Kelly is out there. And before I forget, Machine Gun Kelly is over where you park your cars, I think, and then in the campground. And then also we're going to have a champagne toast here in a few minutes in the Speedway Club, and would love to have you guys up there. Speedway Club serves a midnight brunch that's fantastic, best in town. I might have an omelet.
Yeah. All right, let's go up to the press box.
I mean, why do you say if it's not possible, or you say if it's possible, which it isn't? I just think the way that you couch that is, I don't know. I mean, anything's possible, but what I would say is that I have a huge amount of respect and appreciation for the immense amount of work that these race teams do every single week, and NASCAR, the teams, everybody in the sport, as you all know, when you're traveling the circuit, everybody works so hard. And so I think when you've got a project like this, nothing happens easy. When you've got thousands of people that are working together to run this season. So, I want to just say I've got immense respect for everybody that puts this together. I'm not an engineer, but as a fan, I loved what I saw, and I think that's kind of why we're all here, for the fans. So it's certainly worth looking at, but it's going to take buy-in from the core of the sport, and I think NASCAR and the teams, the car manufacturers. I'm sure that we're not the only ones talking about that right now. I think everybody saw fantastic things on the track tonight, and I think we will get there eventually.
All right, Kenny.
Akeem Balaam, Independent Tribune. As someone mentioned earlier, there was, I guess, clamoring, for the event to potentially be moved to another track. Now, do you feel like that perhaps, given, what you say were, positive reviews from tonight, that perhaps this could potentially translate into, even more positive reviews going into next year, perhaps?
Well, like I mentioned earlier, right now there's such a fantastic positive buzz about what we just saw today. I think that's great. Nobody's really talking about where it is, but I think it's important to know that this this kind of R&D opportunity, the race package that we just saw was way bigger than just Charlotte. This was really about the whole sport. That was the intention from the beginning, is that this is something that has a much bigger goal, and that's to make a positive impact on the whole sport. I think we did that tonight, and I'm really excited about that.
Okay, we're going to take one more, and then Marcus has got a champagne toast to head to.
Peter Strada, TSJ Sports. You mentioned this briefly, but with the practice happening on race day, what are your thoughts about that, and would you be open to that happening in the future for night races?
Yeah, practice on race day is great. It was exciting for me. Not a lot of people were here because we announced it, late last night. But I like cars on the track anytime. I think they ought to get here Wednesday and start practicing. So it's good for me. I certainly enjoyed it.
So things new? Anything looking ahead to September before we go?
Yeah, we're definitely not going to be running on the oval in September. It's going to be a road course. For all the people that asked me, can't we just run the All-Star race with the Roval, and we'll run the 600 the next week? You're crazy. That's. I hope you enjoyed tonight. And when you get back here in September, you will see why it's crazy to think that you could run the Roval and then run the oval the following week. It's going to be incredible. So, but first we're going to have the world's biggest Memorial Day weekend celebration in the Coca-Cola 600, the 59th annual, coming up next Sunday, and look forward to seeing y'all there. Come up for omelets and champagne up in the Speedway Club. Thank you.
Let's do it.